And look, she's having fun. Welcome home.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Fastpass Furious podcast. I'm Skylar, and I am joined with my co-host,
Amanda.
And Sarah.
So in last week's episode, we talked a little bit about the anniversary of the great movie Ride's death. And in this week's episode, what?
I'm just very sad about it still.
Yeah.
It's been a week, but I'm still so sad. So, yeah, talking about that was just not enough. So, we're dedicating an entire episode to the great movie Ride. Yep.
And it's going to be so much fun. But before we dive right into all the great movie ride fun, how would you guys like to play a little game? All right, so the game for today, in our last episode, we talked a little bit about some pretty wacky characters that are available to meet at Universal Studios. But you two may or may not be surprised to find out that in its early days, Disney's Hollywood Studios also had some pretty wacky offerings. So I'm going to give you some things such as attractions, character meet and greets, shows that may or may not have been available to guests in Disney's Hollywood Studios in its early days. And it's your job to tell me if I'm making it up or not.
Okay.
All right, and I will be keeping score.
Good.
Okay. Amanda, your first question. In its early days, did Hollywood Studios have a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle show and meet and greet? Or am I making it up?
You're making it up.
I am not making it up.
No.
Okay, so
those are not Disney characters.
I do remember the Power Rangers used to meet.
That's on this list.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. We can just talk about both of these right now. It's fine. I'll just give you a point for the Power Rangers. Because that would have been your question anyways.
Sorry, Mommy.
Okay.
You're ruining the game. When do I get to play?
Well, so the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles had their own show in the 90s, and at the end they would stop and meet guests. And the show is basically just them getting on this little stage and doing a choreographed dance to the theme song.
Yes.
And there's a random lady who's singing, and I don't know. Okay, I think this lady may or may not be like a character. I don't know, but she's a lady and she's singing, and I don't think it's live singing. She's just like lip syncing. And it's as stupid as it sounds. It really looks goofy. And also the Ninja Turtle costumes look like E.T.
Oh, now I have to see it.
So why, do they not give an explanation at all as to why the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were at Disney?
I have no idea why the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are at Disney, but I do know when I was looking up the Power Rangers, who also had a meet and greet in like a little show thing, Disney owned the Power Rangers for like a short period of time, for like 9 years. So from 2001 to 2010, they would appear in the park and do like a little parade show thingy, and they would meet. So I don't know if that was the same with Ninja Turtles or if the Ninja Turtles just had an agreement. I don't know.
Yeah,
Who's your favorite Ninja Turtle?
I didn't watch the Ninja Turtles.
I didn't either, but I'm gonna say Michelangelo.
I was also gonna say Michelangelo,
just
but
that's the only name I can pull out of like my.
Fine,
right
I'll choose a different one. Donatello. I know all their
Mine
names.
is Raphael.
Yeah, and who's the fourth one? Anyone?
Jimmy.
Claire.
Jimmy.
There's no girl Ninja Turtles.
Oh, that's right. Silly me.
Yeah, don't you know that teenagers means boys.
Also turtles.
Turtles are also boys. Mutants are also boys.
Now
Yeah, they're
that's
all
the
synonyms.
tea.
All right.
I
So
gotta
Sarah,
think of the blue one's name.
Oh.
Donatello, Raphael,
Our listeners are screaming at us.
Michelangelo, and the blue one.
Da Vinci.
No, that's. Oh yeah, Leonardo. That's his name.
I
Sort of.
literally just pulled the word Da Vinci out of my butt. I didn't actually know that his name, like, I didn't know his name. But I do remember meeting the Power Rangers when I went. That's when it was still MGM Studios, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never met the Power Rangers, but they were there till 2010, which I had definitely
Oh.
been before that. So
Yeah.
I met the Power Rangers too. I have a picture with them.
Oh,
Yeah,
goodness.
they met right outside of the little street where they used to do the Christmas lights.
Oh.
I've never been there at Christmas, so
Oh, it was beautiful.
You've never been there? I mean, I'm Jewish, but we still went there. That's why we went there on Christmas.
because you
but-
were like, don't care about Christmas. Go to a theme park.
The Osborne lights were really beautiful.
I agree.
Anyways.
I'm sad they got rid of them.
Yeah, they were really cool. But I guess that area isn't there anymore, is it? But anyways, Sarah, are you ready for your turn?
If it's Barbie, I will know the answer.
Barbie was in Epcot.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So,
My bad.
but anyway, for any of the listeners that didn't know, Barbie did have her own show in Epcot. That's pretty neat.
And it was wonderful.
Yeah.
Bring it back.
Yes, Epcot, bring back Barbie. We're begging you.
Okay, I'm ready for my question.
All right. Your question. Sarah, is The Hunchback of Notre Dame a musical adventure? Real or did I make it up?
A musical adventure.
Yeah, it's a live stage show.
I say that yes, that did exist.
You are correct. That was a real thing. It was pretty much like Beauty and the
That's
Beast
what I was
live on
thinking.
stage,
Yeah.
except for it was Hunchback of Notre Dame. And I did watch a little video of this, and I really love the song Out There, so I would love any rendition of it, but Quasimodo looks ridiculous, straight up. So.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Anyways, Amanda, are you ready for your third question?
Yes.
All right. So, Kim Possible Live. Is this real or I made it up? It is a little street show that features Kim and Ron Stoppable.
I'm gonna say that's made up.
Dang it. Yeah, I did make this up.
But Kim Possible and Ron Stoppable were meetable characters, and they didn't have a scheduled meet and greet, but they would just like run around the park, and like if you wanted to stop them, you could. They would just like run around.
Anyway, Sarah, are you ready for your next question?
I'm ready.
So, is The Spirit of Pocahontas a musical show? Real or did I make it up?
So many background noises. That doesn't exist.
It exists.
It existed.
I know it exists.
It was a real show. It was also similar to Beauty and the Beast live on stage. It had live singers. The thing that is most notable about this show is that
Grandmother Willow
is absolutely terrifying, and she's like 20 feet tall. Like her face is
Huh?
like the size of Pocahontas.
I love it. I remember this when I was younger.
It's so much. Like, okay, so I watched it. I think that it was enjoyable. I think that the performers were really talented. I don't know how Native Americans would feel about this, but it doesn't exist anymore.
I do remember after the performance, it was like a Stitch and not Stitch. What the hell? Pocahontas. No, what am I saying? Forget what I'm saying. Never mind. I actually was trying to say Stitch, but I don't know why. because this is completely unrelated to the Pocahontas thing. I was about to say, after the Pocahontas show, Stitch and Lilo met.
You know, they probably did.
Somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere in the world.
But anyways, Amanda, you already answered your Power Rangers question, so I'm gonna go back to Sarah. Did Tom and Jerry have a meet and greet at Disney's Hollywood Studios?
No. They had a meet and greet at Universal.
I don't know if they had a meet and greet at Universal, but they did have a meet and greet at Hollywood Studios.
No, I was just dead wrong.
Why?
I don't know. I think this happened in like the early 90s, and it must have been for a really short time because there are pictures of this, but there's only like 5 pictures of this. So I don't know how long this was available. But yeah, there weren't that many pictures, but there were enough pictures to prove that this was real.
I like how all of these weird, randomly misplaced characters were all like just thrown into Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, I think Hollywood Studios was made or MGM Studios at the time was made in reaction to success of Universal Studios.
Yeah.
And they wanted to make like their own version, and it shows.
They were good. Like, the 90s were good, though.
That's because you were a kid.
That's because
Yeah,
you were 2.
And now the world, like, sucks. Man, who's with me on this one? Who's with me if you want to go back to the 90s? Am I right, ladies and gents? We were thriving. As a 2-year-old, I was thriving.
I was in your utero. So.
Yeah, back when life was good.
Yeah.
Skylar wasn't born yet.
Who's with me? I'm making a time machine.
Anyways, next question. Amanda.
Yes.
All right. So, in Hollywood Studios, did there...
We had it. It's
Did
in Hollywood Studios.
Okay. At one point, was there a Wizard of Oz meet and greet outside the Great Movie Ride that was mostly Dorothy, but also they brought out the Wicked Witch on crowded days?
Do or have there ever
been?
Wicked Witch?
I'm gonna say no. No.
Dang. Yeah, you're right. But that would be pretty funky, no?
Yeah.
Why would they bring out the Wicked Witch on hot days? We said crowded days. On crowded days, I feel like she would, her skin would melt.
No, only on rainy days.
I didn't think about the logistics of this. I was just trying to pull a trick on you guys.
By adding too many details.
Okay. Anyway.
They do have her shoes, don't they?
They used to have her shoes displayed, but I think they might have
Her
given
shoes are in
them
the
back to
Smithsonian.
Well, they had 5 pairs, and they used to have some at the Smithsonian and some at Disney World, but they were owned by the Smithsonian. Like, Disney was just, like, giving them to display. But I think they probably gave them back.
We are ready for the next question. It will be worth 1,000 points. Winner takes all.
All right.
Don't say your answer out loud, then.
Okay, you guys can say your answer at the same time.
Okay.
All right. So this last attraction is the most recent attraction on the list, and it is called The Legend of Jack Sparrow.
What is it?
It is a walk-through attraction all about Jack Sparrow. So,
are you gonna count us in?
Oh, I didn't know if you guys... Okay, 3, 2, 1.
No.
Wow, you guys are both wrong.
Oof.
This was a walkthrough attraction. I don't know how long it lasted, but I think that it was around 2012. And it was basically a mixture of a bunch of screens and a few physical sets. and there was some like lame audience participation. I watched a walkthrough. Basically there's like there's a creepy skull and he talks to you, and then a bunch of skeletons come to life, and it's just it's goofy. Jack Sparrow's only in this ride for like 15% of it, not ride, attraction, for like 15% of it. He's there for like a minute and then he bounces.
So you can hardly say it's about him.
Wait,
Yeah.
so is it so like you walk through and he's also like physically he's there? Like
No, he's on a screen.
Oh.
And his entrance, his grand entrance. Okay, you know the redhead from Pirates of the Caribbean, the old redhead? She's there. And he's like making out with her. And she's like, no, I'm not that kind of woman. And she's like trying to get away. And I think that's just a weird thing to open on. I don't like that.
Yeah, that's a little weird. Is this Disney's like bad attempt at Poseidon's Fury?
Probably. Okay, so before this was Legends of Jack Sparrow, it was like a walk through Narnia attraction.
Okay,
And-
but I do love Narnia though.
Well, then maybe you would have enjoyed this attraction.
I would have. The Narnia one at least.
Yeah, I don't know much about the Narnia attraction. I think it had... I did the Narnia attraction. I did not do the Jack Sparrow attraction. But I think the Narnia one had like... there was like a little bit of a story, and then you got to like go and see like props from the movie. But this Legend of Jack Sparrow thing was really awful, and I just wanted to talk about it. And I thought maybe you guys would have known that this existed because it was kind of recent.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, well,
I'm the winner.
I'm the loser.
all right. So congratulations to our winner Amanda, who got 3 of her 4 questions right. So
Yay!
congratulations, Amanda.
Thank you.
I don't have a prize for you.
It's time to talk about the greatest ride to ever grace Disney's parks. Yes, I'm talking about the Great Movie Ride.
The greatest.
The greatest movie
Great is in the
ride.
name.
Yeah.
They should rename it the best and most amazing movie ride, because this ride was awesome. Think way back when you were just a child, or you didn't exist, or you were an adult. I don't know your age. The year was 1989. Hollywood Studios didn't exist. It was called MGM, and it was better than Hollywood Studios.
In your opinion.
Yes, in my opinion. It ruled. As you just saw, all of those MGM characters that we were just talking about, like, ruled. That doesn't happen in Hollywood Studios. You think that the Ninja Turtles pop up in Hollywood Studios? No, that was MGM. Anyway, May 1st. Summer has just begun. It's 1989. The scrunchie is in my hair. I'm wearing a skirt. I'm not
Unborn.
I'm unborn. But if I would be wearing a skirt and a Barbie t-shirt and a scrunchie, and I would have bangs and big poofy hair. You can imagine it. And Skylar would be a baby, and she'd be wearing a Barney shirt, and she would have a pacifier. And Amanda would be wearing an overall dress with a bunch of bumblebees on them.
Yes, I would.
Anyway, we walk into MGM. We see the big hat. Now, I don't know.
It's not there
the
yet.
big hat.
The big
Big
hat's
hat
not
is-
there yet.
Big hat's not there. Well, we see the
We
water,
imagine the big hat.
we
The
imagine
big hat
and we
comes in
see
2001.
the water tower. We see the water tower with the Mickey ears. The
Mhm.
water tower with the Mickey ears.
The earful
Oh.
tower.
The Earful Tower. And then we walk in and we get goosebumps. Oh, we were walking down the main Hollywood Boulevard. Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Probably. We're walking down Hollywood Boulevard, and straight ahead, what do we see? A big Chinese theater. No, the Chinese theater. It's gorgeous. We walk inside. It just opened.
Today.
Today, on May 1st, 1989, in case you didn't get that yet. Disney's newest attraction, the Great Movie Ride. This ride. Oh, it's opening day of the park.
Yeah, so not only are we like, no, we're just so caught up in the ride. It's, forget the rest of the park.
The only other thing to do in this park is the backlot tour, which is cool, but we're not talking about that. We get into the little boat car. I used to think it was a boat, but then, you get on and you think it's a boat, but then it moves and you're like, oh, this is on wheels, right?
Did you see water when you went in?
I just kind of thought it looked like a boat.
Okay.
On May 1st, it might have been a boat. They drained the water and added wheels. Our tour guide takes us through the movies. First, our tour guide takes us to Footlight Parade, Singing in the Rain, Mary Poppins, Public Enemy, Fistful of Dollars, The Searchers, Alien, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Tarzan, The Ape Man, Casablanca, Fantasia, and The Wizard of Oz. We get to see all this beauty happening in front of us. We get history. We get to see the characters. We're in the world. The alien's going to kill us from Alien. That's awesome, and we love it. Like, it was so cool. I get off, and I immediately get back in line, and I get in again. And then I keep doing that every single day. I mean, every hour. I mean, I keep just doing it until I can't do it anymore, and then I'm kicked out of the park.
Yeah, and you don't even bother with that silly backlot tour.
Backlot schmacklot.
Yeah.
This is where it's at. It was basically Jungle Cruise, which, if you've seen our Ranking Magic Kingdom attractions list, is a top-tier attraction, but for MGM. Yeah. Because it had animatronics, and then you also had the tour guide, which was, like, funny, but it was interactive because things would go wrong. And it didn't just have the one actor, your tour guide. It had, like, several actors.
Yeah. It was a little less cheesy than Jungle Cruise.
Yeah, like, it made me feel like I was gonna be I was actually in danger.
But I will say, the part where we were, like, in a heist, when I was a kid, I genuinely didn't think that was a part of the ride. I thought somebody was actually kidnapping us. And I'm like, I'm not really sure where they're gonna take us, because, like, we're in this building.
No, I was like, I'm dead. I'm done for.
Yeah, but, like, it genuinely scared me. And I was like, how do they have guns in here?
How'd they get that past security? See, the year was 1989. Security didn't exist. You could bring whatever you wanted into the park.
Honestly, that might be true.
Yeah. So speaking of that gangster scene, there are actually two versions of this scene. I don't know if any of you have experienced this, but on particularly crowded days, they would put into place two versions of this scene. One of the vehicles would be taken over by in the gangster scene, who, by the way, the gangster in that scene's name is Muggsy. Just so we all know, that's Goofy.
Muggsy the mugger.
And in the second, you were caught up in a bank robbery scene that takes place in the little western area. Both times your tour guide leaves the car either like forcefully, or I think in the western scene they were like trying to help the cops get the bank robber. But I don't know if you guys remember this scene or have ever been on it when they had utilized this scene. But there were real fire effects. Like, one of the buildings would like shoot fire out of the window, and I remember it being like really hot in there. But yeah, that's an interesting fact.
That sounds vaguely familiar. Like, I feel like I saw both of those.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I only saw the western scene maybe once or twice, but I do remember it because the first time I saw it, I remember thinking like, this isn't how it usually goes. Where's Muggsy?
I do remember, so the only scene I remember in like great detail was the Wizard of Oz scene.
Mm-hmm.
I guess just because that was probably the only movie of all the ones shown that I had actually seen as a kid. And I remember it was super cool because you were going through like the Munchkin Land, and then there was a puff of smoke, and the Wicked Witch of the West just like appears through the puff of smoke, and I was like, oh my gosh, how did they do that?
Yeah, really cool effect.
Magic.
Was the Wicked Witch an actual person, or was she an animatronic?
She was an animatronic, and apparently she was the most advanced animatronic at the time that this ride was created.
Oh yeah,
'Cause
so
I thought
good.
it was real. Well, that's what was like so cool about that ride, is because they had real like actors on there. Like as a kid, and I'm sure they fooled adults too, but like when a real actor started doing things, then I was questioning if every animatronic was an actor.
Yeah.
And so like then the whole time I was like, which one of you's real and which one of you's a phony?
Phony.
And I just thought they were all real.
And
They all passed the test.
And I think that it's just really a unique ride in general because it was based on IPs that weren't Disney, which you wouldn't expect to see in a Disney park, especially today. I mean, Pandora, I guess they did not own the movie rights to that when they first started making it, I don't think. But still, I don't think that this would have ever happened today. And yet it's so iconic. I think that Disney had run into some contractual problems when creating the ride that kind of led to restrictions creatively, such as the Fantasia scene was originally intended to be an extension of the Wizard of Oz part, where it was supposed to be like the tornado. But because of their contract, they were only allowed to include 2 scenes from Wizard of Oz. So they had to change that whole part into Fantasia. However, fun fact, if you do look at like old ride videos of this scene, you can see the screen that Mickey is on is kind of shaped like a tornado, like how it was supposed to be.
Oh.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't remember the Fantasia scene from this ride at all.
I didn't even know I totally forgot there was a Fantasia scene.
Yeah.
I really only remember, well, some of them were short, some of them were super short, and some of them were longer, right?
Yeah, Fantasia was a short one, and it was just a screen. Like, it was basically just a projection on the wall.
Because, like, I remember The Wizard of Oz, like you were talking about, and again, I think it's because at that age, that was the only movie I had seen. And then the alien part, because it was terrifying.
Yeah, I remember Alien.
And I wanted no part of it.
I remember Singing in the Rain and Mary Poppins.
See, I didn't remember Singing in the Rain and Mary Poppins until, like, y'all had just listed them, and then, like, I had, like, a faint remembrance of them. I remember the, like, plane and the kiss from Casablanca.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, the Western part, because that's when the, like, real person is there, so I remember
and
that.
And also, isn't it The Public Enemy? Isn't that the one where... is that the Western one?
No, the Public
That's the mobster one.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, I remember that one. It's like a city, right?
Yeah, like a...
And there's like scaffolding and stuff.
I think the scene that was most foggy in my memory was the Western scene, even though that live part does happen in that scene. This whole Western, like, change-a-roo thing was also very vague in my memory, and when I was doing research, I was like, wait a second, that did happen. I think that the Western scene from Great Movie Ride gets mashed together in my mind with that, like, prairie scene from Living with the Land, even though they're not really the same.
Oh. I see. I don't remember the Tarzan the Ape Man scene at all, but I can very well picture the audio. I mean, the, like, he definitely does the audio.
I don't remember that at all, which is crazy.
I couldn't tell you what the scene looked like, though.
Okay, I can tell you what it looks like. Because when I was a kid, I knew that this was Tarzan, but it was confusing because it wasn't animated Tarzan, so I was like, what's going on here? And I still have never seen that version of Tarzan. But you're in a jungle. There's Jane, and she's over the doorway, like where the car is going through, and she's on the back of an elephant, and I think the elephant is like moving its head back and forth, like that elephant.
I remember this. The girl was on the elephant.
Yeah, you know how the elephant in Small World is like over the door?
Yeah,
it's very similar to that. and then Tarzan like swings by on the side.
And he goes, oh.
Yeah.
I think y'all are making this up.
I remember this now. Well, I
genuinely, I remember no part of
just
that.
remember the girl sitting on the elephant.
Also, earlier when you guys were talking about how you were genuinely kind of like freaked out by the Muggsy scene, I remember when we were going. Okay, one day we were at MGM Studios, and there was like a Little Mermaid Polly Pocket set that I really wanted, and my mom had got it for me, and so I was carrying it around with me all day. And when we had gotten on this ride, I think like when you go into that gangster movie scene, the tour guide says something like, hold on to your purses or something. Like or maybe the gangster says something like, I'm gonna get your stuff or something.
Yeah.
I was like,
The classic gangster line.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get your stuff.
I remember like hiding my Polly Pockets in my shirt, like,
Oh my gosh.
I'm not letting him
No.
take my Polly Pockets. Anyways.
Okay, I'm looking at a picture of the Casablanca scene because I said I remembered that scene, and like I do, because I specifically remember thinking that they were real people, and I was like, wow, they're just being very repetitive. That must get old. The plane is huge. Like, I don't remember it being that big.
Yeah.
It was like a whole plane, and the propeller started moving, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to hear a fun little fact about the plane?
Yeah.
I do.
Okay, so I think a lot of people, I don't know how this rumor started, but I remember hearing a lot that the plane in that scene was like the real plane from Casablanca.
Oh.
It's not. Because the plane in Casablanca was not a real plane, but this is a real plane. And you not want to know where the
Oh.
butt of the plane is? It's
Tell
on the
us.
Jungle Cruise. When you pass by that crashed plane, that's the same
Oh.
plane.
Oh my gosh.
It's corny sister ride.
See, it is the sister ride because they're like the same ride.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But that's a little fun fact.
That is pretty. Oh, Neato fact
Neato
alert.
fact alert. Okay, so another fun fact that I had found out was that so in front of the Great Movie Ride, the theater, there are real handprints in the cement like there are at the real Grauman's Chinese theater. And you can find lots of people's handprints, including like Mickey and Donald and a couple other characters, I think. But one of my favorite facts is that Audrey Hepburn's handprints can be found in the cement in front of the attraction. And when she was like, supposedly, I don't know if this actually happened, but like when she was like putting her handprints in the cement, she started like getting emotional, and someone was like, why are you emotional, Audrey? And she was like, well, no one's ever asked me to do this before, and it's really special. And apparently, like even the real Grauman's Theater had never asked her to do this, even though she's so iconic. And apparently after word got out that she was like said this, the real Grauman's Theater had contacted her and was like, oh, come to our theater and put your handprints down. And she was like, nah, too late, buddy. And so the only place where you can find Audrey Hepburn's handprints are in front of the Great Movie Ride.
That is very cool. I hope they're still there.
Cool.
They are still there.
Yeah, or those. Okay, I was about to say I don't know if the tiles are still down because I didn't notice them last time we were in Hollywood Studios. But I was gonna say if they're not there, like hopefully they would have like sent the tiles to the people.
Yeah. They were there last time. Another fun fact about the Great Movie Ride is that it was originally imagined to be a pavilion at Epcot. Like they were going to create a film and like show business pavilion at Epcot along with like the Wonders of Life and the Land and all those old Future World pavilions. And then eventually they realized that it was a great enough idea that they could probably do a whole park surrounding the old Hollywood feel. And so that's what they did.
That was the right
I was going to say, I think that was a smart move. I don't think it would have fit in well with Epcot.
Yeah, I agree.
No.
Well, unfortunately, apparently good things can't last because they said bye-bye to the Great Movie Ride in 2017, which is just heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, why even bother going to Disney World? Because that was the best ride. It doesn't get better than that. We talked about this last episode. They're just completely changing Hollywood Studios, and what they're doing is great. Super innovative, super immersive, but it isn't Hollywood Studios. It isn't the same as it was. So,
Right.
nothing is wrong with what they're doing, but it's just like...
Yeah, I understand because it is. I feel like it's not the same, and I have a nostalgic attachment to the way it used to be, but I still really enjoy like Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. And when you go into the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, you forget that you're in Hollywood Studios. Like it feels like you're on a completely different planet. However,
Yeah.
I feel like one of Hollywood Studios' problems, which I think it is getting Hollywood Studios is better than it was a few years ago when everything was like closing and nothing was opening because nothing was ready to be opened.
Yeah.
But one of the problems that they still have is that, and I don't, this is not an easy fix, and I don't think that this will get fixed. And I think the only way that they can fix this is to just drop the Hollywood theme. But nothing really in Disney's Hollywood Studios really fits cohesively together. Like,
yeah, there's no matching.
yeah, it's like Toy Story Land and Star Wars Land, which, I mean, Magic Kingdom has a bunch of different lands, but I don't know, this just feels a little weirder to me, especially considering that like the whole front half of the park is like all Hollywood themed, and then you still have
Right.
like the Muppets Theater. I also don't like how Star Tours is just like not in Star Wars Land, like it's just on its own.
That really kind of messes me up a lot. It's like that used to be and they also have Jedi training still there.
Mhm.
And then also they have not in Star Wars Land. We call it Star Wars Land. They have like, what's it called? When you meet Darth Vader and you can meet
the Star
yeah.
Wars, what is that called?
launch post.
Yeah,
Launch
Star
pad.
Wars Launch Bay.
Launch Bay. Yeah, so they
Yeah.
have Galaxy's Edge, which is an entire giant immersive land. Then they have Star Tours, which is separate, and Jedi training right in that area. That used to be the Star Wars zone before this all existed. But no, they didn't move that to be part of Galaxy's Edge. No, they left it as its own zone. But in addition to that, they have Star Wars Launch Bay, which is kind of like take a look at the behind the scenes of the movie, watch this video thing, and also meet some of the characters and like look at props and stuff, which is a separate thing. So it seems like Hollywood Studios is now this Star Wars park, but it's all spread out with old Hollywood and Toy Story, Pixar stuff just mixed in. It doesn't make sense. Like, why do you spread out all the Star Wars stuff when you just spent so much time and money to make an immersive Star Wars land?
And they also do the nightly show, like the Star Wars show on the Chinese theater. And so, like, the park is literally just Star Wars, and there are just other things in the Star Wars park.
I just don't see why they didn't just make a Star Wars park.
Yeah.
And then...
like, it didn't have to be huge, obviously. It didn't have to be, like, the size of their regular parks. But, like, if they're gonna make it this, like, really big thing, which they absolutely can because Star Wars hasn't, like, a big enough fan base to do that with, like, they could have separated it from, like,
the rest of
the the things that are in Hollywood Studios.
Yeah. Or they could have just put all the Star Wars stuff in Hollywood Studios together.
Yeah, like
I feel like that would
make
make so much more sense.
Yeah.
And maybe they didn't want to do that because like Star Wars, what is it called? Star Wars Launch Bay and like the fireworks show are like more theme parky, and maybe it wouldn't be as immersive in Galaxy's Edge if those were in Galaxy's Edge.
Right, it
That's
takes you out
true.
of the story a little bit to look at the
Yeah.
props from the movie.
Yeah.
However, like, I don't.
It's a lot.
I don't know. I also, maybe controversial opinion. I don't know how y'all felt about it. I did not like the Star Wars show.
I haven't seen it.
The fireworks show?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I cried during it. It's not my favorite. It's kind of weird. Because they're just like showing clips, but I think it's like on such a large scale, like the projections and then the music. If you're like nostalgic for Star Wars, it might just get you emotional anyways. And then the end where they like shoot the lightsaber into the air, which doesn't always look great, but still cool effort.
Good try.
Good try. I mean, I probably would prefer to see Phantasmic over this, but since Phantasmic was full the day that we went and saw this, I mean, I enjoyed it just fine.
It's just strange because you go to Magic Kingdom and you have this expectation everything is classic looking. Even the newest attractions there have a classic air to them. So like New Fantasyland, it all meshes together. And what you have in Hollywood Studios is two separate things. Heavy classic old Hollywood and then new super future modernism. And it really doesn't mesh because like even Phantasmic, like that's really classic. Nothing's wrong with Phantasmic. Well, it's kind of boring, but
In your opinion.
but like, it's like classic Disney. And but then you've got going on at the exact same time across the park laser light show fireworks, and it's like I'm here watching and then in the background I can hear dun 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 dun. It's like you can't have those going on at the same time.
Can you
like
literally hear them in the theater?
Yeah, and you can see the fireworks, the like red laser looking fireworks going on behind you. Like people were turning around and were like, "What's going on over there?"
Oh,
And it's like
I couldn't hear it, but you can see the fireworks and stuff.
that's weird.
It's just I don't think
like
you can
that.
have both.
Yeah.
You can't do it both ways. I think they
Yeah.
have to decide whether they're going to make it a fully immersive themed park where they have various lands. Like they have to decide whether they're going to make it a Universal Studios or an Islands of Adventure. Islands of Adventure.
Yeah. Well,
bunch of
let's not
different
compare it
themed
to
lands.
those. But I think
Okay, but you know what I'm trying
Yeah.
to say though, right?
But like that
Yes.
is kind of like the two competing ideas for
Yeah,
it.
I also think that this whole retheming of Hollywood Studios came about because they were trying to compete with Wizarding World.
Yeah.
Because before Wizarding World, Universal was like, Disney did not have any competition in that. Like, people would go
Right.
to Orlando for Disney World and maybe go to Universal.
For a day or two.
Yeah. But then with Wizarding World, people were like, wait, we need to plan our vacation to Universal. Like even when it came out, like my family went to just Universal, not Disney, and we're like Disney people. So I think when that came out, Disney was like, wait a second, this whole immersive thing, like we got to get in on that. And that's, well, first they tried with Pandora, which is fine, but then I think that they were like, wait, we should do a Star Wars thing.
Yeah, Pandora, like, I don't know, how do you guys feel about Pandora? Because for me, it's, I mean, maybe I just don't have any nostalgia towards Avatar, but I mean, it's pretty looking, but there's
Yeah.
really not like anything there. Like, it's nothing that just excites me. I don't know.
I like it. I think it's cool, but like you said, like I don't have any attachment to Avatar.
Yeah.
And like I don't really know anyone that does. Like sure, everyone's like, yeah, Avatar, that's a really good movie, but like I don't know anybody that like fans over Avatar.
Like, again, it just goes back to the thing where people are like, can you name a character's name from Avatar? Name one character's name from Avatar
Jake.
besides him.
I didn't even know his name.
Yeah, I only know
yeah.
Jake because something that's in Pandora says his name or something.
But like literally any other name.
Yeah,
Anyone?
no.
No,
what's
No.
her
because no
name?
one cares.
Natiri. Her name's Natiri, right?
But like,
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
Okay, yeah.
Like you're saying that, and I don't even know if that's
But for
right.
real, like I don't. There's probably like Avatar fanboys, but like I think the vast majority of people are like, oh, I saw that once in 2009.
I think
Right.
Avatar more than anything has become like a meme. You know, like people are like, it takes 10 years to make an Avatar movie. I mean, I'm not hip with the times and the memes. I am an elderly person. But like the whole like, can you name a single character's name, and the fact that it's taken them 12 years to make a second one, and it
Yeah.
still hasn't come out yet, type of thing. Like that is been circulating in the internet, the meme culture. I need to stop talking. You know what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, people don't like think about Avatar in a serious way these days. No one's like, oh,
Yeah.
and, the critical, you know, they're not like sitting down critiquing it like they would for
Right.
like Harry Potter or Star Wars, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, like no one
Yeah.
has like a love. Like people love Harry Potter, and I think part of that is because when you watch Harry Potter, you like imagine yourself in that world and being a wizard. And I think that's
Right.
why that was so successful for Universal, because not only do people love Avatar, but like it's like such a
You could be in it. Like,
Yeah.
you can pretend to be a wizard, and you can immerse yourself in the sense that you can run around with a wand and actually make things happen.
Mhm.
And wizards are humans. I mean, you know what I'm trying to say. And also, people in Star Wars, there are humans in that. So you could
Yeah.
see yourself being there.
yeah, it's the same thing.
In Avatar, they're all like, if they're humans, they're like a specialized scientist. It's not an everyman type of thing.
Yeah,
And if they're
yeah.
not humans, like, I'm sorry, like, like you can't imagine yourself as that either. It's not easy to place yourself in it. Like, you don't go to bed at night dreaming that you're in Avatar.
Yeah.
Like I dream every night that I'm in
Right.
Harry Potter.
Mhm.
And
or,
I do.
Or Star Wars. Like
Mhm.
I think that when you watch Star
Yeah.
Wars, you're like, what would it be like to be a Jedi? But you don't watch Avatar and are like, I want to be a Na'vi. Like,
Right.
And like they don't like the Avatar land also doesn't like it doesn't give you anything to make you feel like you're a part of it. Like, okay, it has those little bird things that you can put on your shoulder, but like that doesn't make me like, that's just, I don't know. Like, that's just $60, and for what?
Well, yeah, and it's like when you walk into, let's say, Diagon Alley in Universal, it's so immersive because you could see a busy alley like that with tons of shops, restaurants, and buildings, and a ton of people walking through that. When I walk into Na'vi or Pandora, when I walk into Pandora, if I was actually there, I wouldn't expect to see crowds of people. It's supposed to be like an oasis landscape with like no people and, alien Na'vi people. It's not supposed to be crowded with humans like Galaxy's Edge or Star or Diagon Alley like actually would in their stories.
Yeah, I think we could probably do like a short segment on a future episode, like deep diving into how stupid Pandora is. But I also just want to mention that the Na'vi are like a metaphor, a parallel for Native Americans. So it seems a little off that they've turned their home into a tourist attraction. Apparently.
Yeah.
Walt Disney likes America and the American dream a little too much. They carried on his legacy by colonizing even make-believe places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I honestly think that we could probably talk about this in the next episode a little more.
That's
instead
true.
of a game.
We've gotten really off.
Yeah.
guys.
Well,
Okay.
sorry, when I get heated about something, it's not a Fast, Fast, and Furious episode if we don't heavily dunk on something that we don't like. We couldn't.
It's eventually going to get to the point where there's not going to be things that we can list that we actually enjoy.
We're gonna be like, and another thing about Barney. Can't stand that purple dinosaur. I'm sorry, take it all back. I love you. I love you, Barney. I'm so sorry. Please.
Yeah, we love Barney.
I mean, that's the furious part of this podcast is us ranting and hating
Uh-huh.
things.
That's true.
And if you've got something to say about it,
DM us.
please DM
Boost
us.
Yeah,
our
let us know.
engagement.
We really need our engagement boosted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Follow us on Twitter and on Instagram and on YouTube.
And also, leave us a review on iTunes if you're listening on iTunes. We would love to hear your opinions. As long as they're 5 stars.
Yeah, even if you hate us, you can leave us a review. Or maybe if you hate us, you can DM us and tell us what you don't like about us. But don't leave us the review. But if you love us, leave us the review.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We aim to please, but also our opinions are correct. So I'm not
Yes.
going to change them.
Thank you guys so much for listening. They've already, let you know where you can find us at Fastpass and Furious. And you can tag us using the hashtags Fastpass and Furious or TBTF, TSTF.
Uh-huh.
And we may share your funny stories on the podcast because we love funny stories.
do.
Yeehaw.
We love a good giggle.
Hey, Autobots, you ready to roll out?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
All right. Are we ready?
The
The
bigger the family,
family,
the stronger the family. Oh my gosh, that was like a religious experience.
All right, everyone. Have a great day.
I love you.
Okay. Pluto entered the chat.